Hello everyone, welcome back to our today's webinar. सबका स्वागत है हमारे वेबिनार पे which are conducted by PsyAcademy. This entire webinar series is about we talk about topics that are important not only for the UGC-NET point of view, but then they're also important to understand, to gain self-awareness, to understand your, the society, to understand people around you, and which can help you in the long run to improve your well-being. जो आज का टॉपिक है ये ना सिर्फ यूजीसी नेट के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक है, बट आप इससे खुद को समझ सकते हैं, अपने आसपास के लोगों को, अपने रिलेशनशिप्स को इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं. Now, all right. In today's topic, we'll talk about Robert Sternberg's theory. Robert Sternberg gave the triangular theory of love. वो एक अमेरिकन साइकोलॉजिस्ट थे और उन्होंने उनका मेजर कंट्रीब्यूशन हम देखते हैं इंटेलिजेंस की थ्योरीज में. उन्होंने 3 टाइप के इंटेलिजेंस दिए थे और उन्होंने एक लव का भी थ्योरी दिया था. तो उनका जो लव का थ्योरी है, जो मॉडल है, दैट इज मोर अबाउट द काइंड ऑफ लव दैट exists between partners and not the other kinds of, let's say, familial love. So that is the kind of love we'll talk about today. This is a topic that is Sternberg's triangular theory of love. So to talk about this topic, we have with us today Miss Ramya Srivastava. Hello ma'am. She's a counseling psychologist as well as she's a research scholar. So ma'am, could you give a brief introduction about yourself?
Hello, hi Ananya. Thank you
Hi,
so much for having me. Hello everybody, a very good afternoon. I hope everybody is doing well. So my name is Ramya, as Ananya already introduced me. So I am a psychologist, an art therapist and a psychology lecturer. And yes, side by side, I am also a research scholar. So today we are going to talk about this theory of love. Now this is one of the most interesting topic, I suppose, because for the young adults, and not just young adults, for the adolescents as well, this is something which is very intriguing, okay? Because love is something, it's a very basic human emotion, and we all experience it, and we all want to experience it, okay? We all are trying every day to understand what love is. There is a huge question mark whenever there is, there's this thing, okay, people say that, yes, I love you. People receive this sentence that, okay, this person loves me, but are we really understanding what love is? Are we really understanding the depth of what it is? So this is what we are going to explore in today's session. Yes, from a theoretical point of view and also from a more practical point of view. As I always tell this to all my students, that psychology is not something to be read just from the books, just from the theories. It is something that you have to explore, that you have to observe, that you have to live. Why? Because it is about human behavior, human emotions. And when we talk about human emotions, human behavior, we ourselves are human beings. We have emotions. We have our thoughts. We behave in certain ways. We are getting affected by others, their behavior. And in a society, we are living and we are surrounded by them. And when we are surrounded by human beings, of course, every minute, every second, there is psychology. We understand, we try to react, we behave in certain ways. And there are so many things. There are so many complexities which are there. And a small part of this complexity is this concept, which is love, that we are going to explore today. So before we move forward and we talk about what makes love last, I want you guys to tell me that what is love? What do you understand by love, or have you experienced love? Yes, I would want this to be more interactive. I don't want this session to be, just one-sided. So I want participation from all the people who are attending the session. So the question is that what do you understand by love, or have you experienced love? Would you want to tell how it is and how it feels?
Yeah, does anybody want to share anything in the chat box or maybe through audio?
Come on, guys. See, I think that love is something that we all might have experienced, even if that had led to a heartbreak. But I think this is something that you all must have experienced at least once in your life. So anything from your experience or anything, any understanding of love that you have, what this is. Is it a happy emotion or a negative emotion? Tell me this.
Ma'am, it seems like people are very shy talking about this topic.
I can see that. And of course, I understand, because this, again, it's a very sensitive topic. And it is a topic that might, lead to a lot of past emotions coming back as a flashback. That's okay. But Utkarsh, can you tell me something about love that you know? It's a complex emotion, can't be called as happy or sad. Okay, Swati says love is when your friends stay up with you at 3 a.m. because it just went. Where can I see the messages?
Ma'am, I'll read it out for you. It says, love is when your friends stay up with you at 3 a.m. because you cannot sleep.
Okay, right. So see, love is something which is not just in a romantic relationship. You have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a partner or a life partner, a husband or a wife. It is not just there. Love is when you love your sister, when you love your siblings, when you love your parents, your friends. Okay, so Sternberg talked about the three components of love, and this is why Sternberg's theory is known as triangular theory of love, because there are three components which are very important in love, and it depends how these three components are interacting with each other. That determines at what type of love do you have. So, Ananya, can you change the slide? Okay, so there are three components of love that we have. These three components are intimacy, passion, and commitment. Now, intimacy is talking about the closeness. How closely you are connected to each other, how good you are bonding with the other person. This is what intimacy talks about. Now, a general wrong perception of the word intimacy that people have is with respect to the physical intimacy, is with respect to the physical attraction that people are having. So if I am physically close to somebody, if I am sexually attracted to somebody, and I am involving in sexual activities, so people are like, yes, I got intimate with that person. But that is a very shallow part. That is just the physical part. The real meaning of intimacy is the closeness with respect to the connection that you feel emotionally and not just physically. Okay, this is what intimacy talks about. How much you are bonding with each other, how much you are understanding each other, you know about each other's vulnerabilities, and how much space that you are giving to each other, and how much ready you are to understand each other. This is what intimacy talks about. This is the first component which is very important. The second component is passion. Now, passion is that drive, that push you towards that physical attraction, sexual desire, the romance. Now, here comes the physical part. Now, here comes the physical attraction. So, passion is when you are very much, you want to meet that person, you want to be around that person because you're very passionate about that person. You want that person to be with you. You want that physical presence of the person because you're so passionate about that person. You want that physical touch. You want the physical presence. So this is what is leading you towards romance, towards sexual desires, towards sexual intimacy, basically. So this is all about the physical attraction, the physical intimacy that passion talks about. So passion is basically the push that you have from inside that motivates you to involve with that person in the physical aspect. And then the third component is commitment. Now, commitment is when you are making a decision to love someone and maintain that love. Now, this is a very difficult component. Now, this comes at last. Now, this is not very easy to do for everybody. Okay, so we'll talk about the practical aspects and how in today's time it is changing and what are the dynamics to it. So Sternberg says that there has to be a balance between the physiological needs and love, and it is essential, and the absence of all of these is known as non-love. When there is no intimacy, no passion, no commitment, we cannot say that it is love. Okay. And the way it is interacting with each other, the way intimacy, passion, and commitment is interacting with each other, that leads to the ideal love, consummate love, that the term that is given by Sternberg. Okay, please come to the next slide, Ananya. Okay, so this is just a pictorial presentation that we have. Now there are different types of love, a combination. So Sternberg talked about 7 types of love. Here 8 are listed. So the first is non-love, where there is absence of all the 3 components. Okay. Now the first is liking. Like when we talk about liking, so there is intimacy, there is connection, there is bonding. Okay, you know about each other's vulnerabilities. There is a lot of emotional connection. You want to be there for your friend. Like one of you suggested that love is when you are available for your friend at 3 a.m. because you cannot sleep. Okay, so that is intimacy. So that's where we talk about the love in friendship. Okay, this is where friendship comes. So where you like the person, you care about the person, and there is that closeness, there is intimacy. But passion and commitment is not there. So liking talks about intimacy is there without passion and commitment. So this is the kind of love which is there in friendship. Then we have infatuation. Infatuation is basically just passion. It is just physical. It is more of lust. Okay, you are physically or sexually attracted to somebody and you want to involve with that person because you find that person physically very attractive. Okay, and you have that sexual desire to connect with that person. So there is no intimacy. You might not know about that person's vulnerabilities, about the nature. You might not like the person's nature only altogether. But because of the physical attractiveness, you just want to be physically connected to that person. So it is more of lust. And of course, here also there is no commitment. This is what infatuation is. When we say now that love as at first sight. So when you are at first sight seeing somebody and that person is, just giving you all the butterflies in the stomach and you feel, wow, he's so handsome or she's so beautiful. That's what infatuation is. You're just physically or sexually attracted to that person. Okay. Then we have empty love. Now, empty love is something that we really need to talk about. Empty love is just about commitment. There is no passion. There is no desire to be physically connected with the person. There is no sexual intimacy in the relationship. And there is no emotional intimacy. The person, these two people are just there with each other because they have made a decision to stay with each other. Now, if we see marriages, many marriages after years, this love just fades away and there's just empty love because there is just commitment. They are not being disloyal to each other. They are loyal to each other because they have committed to each other and they have to, there are so many responsibilities. Kids are there, the responsibilities to provide to the family financially, take care of the children, take care of the grandparents and parents. So there are so many responsibilities that somewhere fades that intimacy, somewhere fades that passion in that relationship. And we see because of this empty love, most of the marriages fail as well. Most of the marriages lead to divorces and separation. So this is what empty love is. And mostly couples are coming for marriage counseling or couple therapy because there is this empty love, because there is commitment, they are with each other, they're not going to leave each other, but there is no passion, there is no intimacy, they are not able to understand each other, they are not able to share their vulnerabilities, share their day-to-day lives, and whatever happened in their office, or things went wrong, or this happened, or that is bothering them, whatsoever it is, they are not doing that. So that is where it's very empty, it feels very shallow, there's just commitment. Then we talk about romantic love. Now, romantic love, there is intimacy, there is passion, there's a lot of romance, there's a lot of closeness, okay, but no commitment. I am not sure that whether I want to be with you forever, I want to marry you, or I am not sure. So I think this again is something that we need to talk about. Because in today's time, there is romantic love, there is a lot of romance, there is a lot of emotional and physical intimacy, passion is there. Okay, but people have this fear of commitment. People are not able to commit to the person because there is so much of exposure in today's time. Everywhere on Instagram, we are seeing every other person is giving this lecture and podcast that what is love, what is a green flag, what is a red flag, and we are somewhere getting affected by that. Somebody says, a very influential couple says that, okay, if that my partner is not doing this, and this is a red flag. Now you keep on analyzing your partnership and you're like, oh my God, I have a red flag with me. No, I cannot commit. I might get someone better. This is not what I deserve. I deserve something better. So in that search of getting a better partner, and that having that fear that what if something happens and this relationship breaks and I am not able to deal with this, the heartbreak, people are not able to commit to the relationship. And this is what has happened in today's time. And not just today's time, it has happened years, before as well. Because of this fear, because of, again, the influence of today's social media and other people and how friends are influencing us. There's a lot of reasons why it happens. There is a question. Ananya, can you read up the question? What's the question?
Sure, ma'am. Just a second. Ma'am, Swati is asking that if there is emotional intimacy, then how is there no commitment?
See, when there is emotional intimacy, now I'll give you an example. Now, if me and my partner, we are very close to each other. Emotional intimacy is what? That we are understanding each other. We are very close to each other. We know each other's vulnerabilities, our past life, our past traumas, our family, everything. Something's happening. I am just going to that person and I'm sharing, yeah, this happened. I had a fight with this person in my office, this happened, that happened, and I feel very low, I want to be with you. All of these things I'm sharing with that person. Now, this means that I am there and I want that person to be there with me. So both of us are sharing that closeness, that bond. Now, it might happen that either both of the partners or just one partner is having that fear that what if something is wrong? What if something goes wrong? What if there is something that might lead our future relationship or that might destroy our future relationship? So the individual insecurity, the individual fears can lead to non-commitment. Now, for commitment, both of the parties needs to commit. Now, if I want to get married to my partner, but he doesn't want to get married because he has his own insecurities, okay? Or maybe he has his own obligations, familial obligations, that no, my parents won't allow for love marriage. My parents are more into, arranged, we have different caste and all, and he is more getting influenced by that. So there can be a problem with commitment. Okay, so there can be this thing. And then what is happening, what I was talking about, that influence thing, that in today's time, see, we know this is the concept of social psychology, that we do get influenced by other people. And if that other person is very influential and it's very credible person, the source is very credible. So if whatever whatever that person is saying, we are like, no, he is saying it right. So if a very ideal couple whom you worship suggest that if your partner is not communicating his feelings with you, then that is a red flag. So you will get influenced by it and you will be like, yeah, my entire life he will not communicate his feelings, and then our bond is going to get destroyed, and then I don't think that I can commit to this person. I think that I deserve better. This might happen. Now, this depends upon you, your personalities, how you are viewing the situation, how you are viewing the whole partnership, everything. The other person can view this whole situation differently. He might be like that, okay, my partner doesn't know how to communicate, but let's work on this together. Let's work on this together. He is not knowing how to communicate because in his family only, Nobody communicates. And I am coming from a family where everybody is very open to communication. Everybody shares their feelings. So this is why I've become very open to communication and feeling. But my partner is not very open. So I need to work upon that. If I really am, if that intimacy and that passion is strong, that sense of commitment automatically develops with the time. So you need to give time to that. Now, if in 1 year or 2 years you are like, no, third year you break up. But if you're giving some time to that relationship, now it depends upon you. It's your choice. You want to give that relationship some time so that that commitment develops from your side also, from the other side also, or you're not giving time. So it depends upon you. Are you understanding, Swati? Okay. So next we have compassionate love. Compassionate is where there is no passion. Okay, there is intimacy, there is commitment. Okay, but there is no passion. So there is no physical or sexual desire here, but intimacy is there and commitment is there that you are my best friend forever. No matter whosoever comes in my life, I'm not leaving you. But we are also not partners. Okay, we are more than friends, but less than partners. Okay, so this is what compassionate love is. Somewhere, some people do not develop that physical attraction or sexual feeling for the other person, but they cannot just live without each other. They are so closely held to each other. That intimacy is there, commitment is there, that nobody except you. Okay, so that's what compassionate love is. No passion, but intimacy and commitment is there. Okay, then we have fatuous love. In fatuous love, there is no intimacy. Closeness is not there. Bonding is not there. There is passion and there is commitment. You are very high on sexual and physical energy. You guys are very desiring each other. Physically, you are desiring each other. Commitment is also there that, okay, we are, going to be together. But intimacy is not there. What happens in some partnerships, in some marriages, what happens? There's a lot of sexual activity. There's a lot of physical attractiveness. Okay. Why? Because we chose each other, because, both of us are physically very beautiful, and because both of us are physically attracted to each other's body, each other's, physically. And there is commitment that, okay, we are partners, we are boyfriend, girlfriend, we are husband, wife, there you have got married or whatsoever. But because of the differences in your personalities, because of the differences in how you view things, the perspectives, and a lot of things, your personalities, your ideologies, your values, your beliefs, you guys are not able to develop that intimacy, that closeness with each other with respect to the emotional component. You're not understanding each other. There's a lot of fights that's happening between you guys. You are, in that relationship, you make out with each other, you involve in sexual interaction, you are with each other, but you're not talking. You're not talking about how was your day, how did your go went, how did your day went. Okay, you are not talking about it. You're not talking about the insecurities that your partner is having. You're not talking about the problems that is coming in your relationship. You're not talking about it. So there is no intimacy. So this type of fatuous love doesn't stay for longer. This is often unsuccessful. There are higher chances of this type of love to break. Again, in early marriages, this happens. There is no arranged marriages. Two couples, they are, of course, committed to each other. They got married. There's a lot of passion, because arranged marriages, so of course, we saw each other and we physically are attracted to each other, because, of course, in arranged marriages, what we saw was each other's face, their body. Okay, so there is a lot of sexual energy after marriage, but intimacy is absent. So after some time, that can convert into empty love. There is only commitment. There is no passion also. Because passion is something which is very short term. It cannot last longer. If there is no intimacy, passion will be short term, and after a time you will get bored by that person. And you would want to engage in extramarital affair, or automatically gets engaged in extramarital affairs. And then the last, which is the most ideal one, is the consummate love, where all the three components are present. There is intimacy, there is passion, and there is commitment. Okay, so this is what we have. Right? Can we move to the next slide? So somebody is asking something. Yes, say something. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Wait, if you want to say something, please type it on the chat box, maybe. Okay, so here is the pictorial presentation of all the types of love that we have talked about. Okay, so here you see in this triangle, at the center, there is consummate love, where there is intimacy, passion, and commitment. Okay, at one point, we are talking about intimacy, then we have passion, and then we have commitment. Okay, so here you see, wherever there is intimacy and commitment, that is compassionate love. Okay, there is no passion. Wherever there is intimacy and passion, there is romantic love. Then there is passion and commitment, there is fatuous love. Okay, so this is how it is interacting with each other, and this is how we talk about. Where there is only passion, this is infatuation. There is only commitment, this is empty love. Where there is only intimacy, that is liking. Okay, so this is what. I hope this is understandable to everybody. Okay, so can we move towards the next slide? Okay, so here we see what consummate love is, the ideal relationship. It is the total form of love, embodies all three components, as we have already discussed, intimacy, passion, and commitment. Now, couples who experience
somebody's mic is on. Certain sports and yoga instructor, could you please turn off your mic?
Okay. So yes, so we were talking about consummate love. So this is what Sternberg is saying, that if all the three components, intimacy, passion, and commitment, is present, then we have consummate love, which is the ideal relationship, which of course is very difficult to find in today's time. Now, couples who experience consummate love often experience great sex for years into their relationship and cannot imagine themselves with anybody else. There is commitment to each other. There is a lot of passion. There is that drive that, yes, I want this person. Okay. And there is intimacy also, because emotionally also I am connected with my partner. And of course, there is commitment. And now I'm not going anywhere. Okay. I'm not having any extramarital affair. I'm not getting attracted to anyone. Now, these couples are able to overcome the differences and face stresses together. Because when we say ideal love, we don't mean that these couples are not going to have fights. They will have fights. They will be fighting with each other. We don't say that they will not face any difficult situations. They will face difficult situations. But the thing is, because these three components are present, because of this, they will be able to overcome these challenges together. Because both of the partners are passionate about each other, are committed to each other, and most importantly, they are having that closeness, they are having that bonding with each other. Okay, but again, this is not easy to maintain. It can get very hard to maintain and achieve this consummate love. Why? Because as we are moving forward with life, there are different life struggles that we face individually. My career, my relationship with my in-laws, his career, his relationship with his in-laws. Okay, how we are interacting with each other, the influence of the outer world, how we are expressing our liking, how we are expressing our emotions with each other. The change when there is a childbirth. Okay, when we start to have kids, how the dynamics are changing, how we are taking part in that whole process of parenting. that can become difficult. So are we ready to give each other that space and time, and are we ready to understand each other or not? That is very important. And this is why people say that love is very hard. Love is not easy to maintain. Love is not just, that very, butterfly feeling, butterfly in my stomach feeling, and it's all lovey-dovey, everything is fine. No, it is difficult to maintain. There will be challenges, and throughout your partnership, there will be challenges. But how much ready you are to continuously engage in that action, engage in that expression of love. How continuously you are giving each other chances, forgiving each other, and trying to accept each other, even though if there is some mistake that has been done by your partner. So all of this might sound very philosophical, but this is what is important to maintain consummate love. So at the start, if I am about to get married, I have intimacy, I have passion, and I have commitment. Both of the partners are having all the three components. And I say that we have consummate love. But after we get married and we are not maintaining this, it might turn into empty love. There can be nothing. There can be just commitment, because we are not ready to engage in that surprises, engage in that, behaviors where we are expressing that love for each other. So there will be that love will fade. People say now that love fades ultimately. It is because of your behavior, how much expressive you are, how much you are engaging in the action. So without behavior and without expression, passion can be lost. And love may revert to a compassionate type where there is no compassion, where there is no passion. Or it can ultimately go back to empty love, where there is no passion, there is no intimacy, and there is just commitment. I hope you are understanding. Any questions here? Anybody? All right, so we can move on to the next slide. Thank you, Ananya. So the evolution of love in the long-term relationship. So how this changes. So we have talked about passion, intimacy, and commitment. So how these three things are changing with the time. When we talk about passion, so initial stage, it is usually very high. It may gradually decline, but it can be sustained by nurturing romance. So passion, as we talked about, is more of the physical attraction, the sexual attraction, the sexual intimacy that people are having, that desire to be there, to be around that person, that physical touch. Okay, so this might fade. Usually in long-term marriages, it fades. Why? Because again, people are not nurturing that romance. People are not nurturing that connection with each other, physical connection with each other. Ultimately, they get bored of each other. And then this is where extramarital again. Because you're finding that satisfaction, you just got bored of your wife, your husband, you are going out and you're finding that passion to some other person. You are committed to your wife only, your husband only, but that passion is from the outside. So it might go. So initially it's very strong with your partner, but it can fade. So you have to maintain that. Then when we talk about intimacy, so it develops progressively. Intimacy is not love at first sight. Intimacy is not developed overnight. It develops progressively. First year, second year of your relationship, third year, fourth year, fifth year of your relationship. It can deepen, but with open communication and shared vulnerabilities. You have to share your vulnerabilities with each other. You have to be open about the problems, the issues that you are facing, your insecurities that you are having. Everything you need to be open about. And then when we talk about commitment, commitment is something that always comes at the end. Initially, in initial part of the relationship, there is no commitment. Yes, when there is arranged marriage, there are commitments. You start with commitment only, that we are meeting to get married. Okay. But when we talk about when we are exploring relationships, and this is not arranged marriage, we are getting to know each other. There is passion, there is intimacy. Okay, but we are still not sure that whether I'm going to marry this person or not, whether I am ready to commit to this person or not. Okay, so it may start low at the start, but strengthens as the relationship matures. especially with shared values and goals. Now, this is very important. Commitment is there where there are shared values and goals. Now, this means that if I, as a partner, I don't want to live with family, I want to stay alone after we get married, but my partner wants to stay with family. So my values and my goals are different than what he wants. I might want kids and he might not want kids. He don't want to have, he's like, I just want to be us for our entire life. I don't want any third person. I don't want any kids. But I really want kids. I'm like, no, I want to start a family of our own. How can you say that you don't want kids? So here there can be intimacy, there can be passion, but commitment, in context of commitment, this thing is missing. The values and shared beliefs are missing. So commitment might not be there. And again, the other points that I discussed at the start, my own personal insecurities, how I'm getting influenced by the other factors and other people. Of course, this can play a role. Okay, so let me tell you one very important thing here. Whatsoever it is, there is not just one factor that is impacting your behavior. Whatever you are doing, there are a combination and an interaction of many things that comes together that leads to your behavior. So here, if you're talking about the shared values and beliefs, so of course there is your personalities, your insecurities, your trauma, your past experiences, whatsoever. So a combination of all of these things can lead to whether you are able to commit to that relationship or not. Okay, so that's one thing. Can we move to the next slide, Ananya? Now, since we are here not just to read about the theoretical part, but also to understand how can we reignite that passion in a relationship? How can we reignite that lost, that light spark which was there initially, but now it is not there. So as therapists, and also not as a therapist, if you know about these things and if you are open to these things, of course, you can work on these things into your relationship and bring that passion back. Okay. So what happens when we are meeting somebody, there's a lot of excitement. We want to know that person. There's a lot of new things that we are exploring about that person. This is why we are excited. After a particular time, we know everything about that person. We have explored everything, physical, emotional, we have explored everything, and now there is no novelty. So when we reintroduce novelty, where we are trying new hobbies together, we're traveling, we're planning surprise dates, this is where passion can reignite. Okay, where now here we are not talking about going back to the first or initial phase. No, because this is 10 or 12 years of your relationship, passion has been lost. You are just growing together and moving forward, understanding each other and then choosing each other intentionally because you want to reignite that passion. You want to bring back that passion. So you are doing it all together again. Okay. Then improving emotional intimacy is very important. Sometimes what happens, again, because of so much of responsibility, so much of different life situations and challenges, after a time, husbands and wives stop talking to each other, stop sharing their emotions and their problems with each other. And somewhere emotional intimacy also starts to fade away. So it is important that you practice active listening, empathy, and deep conversations. Talk to your partner, you share things so that emotional intimacy is maintained. And emotional intimacy is there, then passion automatically comes. It's easier for passion to reignite if there is emotional intimacy with your partner. If there is no emotional intimacy and there is only commitment and passion, it's very difficult to bring back the passion. Okay. Then prioritizing physical affection. Okay. Now, physical affection is not just about sexual intercourse. Physical affection is holding hands, cuddling with each other, giving massages to each other, doing some cute things for each other. Okay, so this is what physical affection here we are talking about. Okay, a very warm hug to your partner. That is what is improving your passion. Okay, then exploring sexual reconnection. Okay, now when we talk about exploring sexual reconnection, you can talk to your partner about each other's needs, about what they want in the sexual interaction that they are having together. Okay, and openly discuss about it. Scheduling intimacy. Sometimes what happens, both of the partners get so busy that they are not able to, interact sexually. Why? Because the other partner is tired, or the other partner is not having the time, or they're not able to schedule time for each other. So you can schedule that. Okay, we will plan it and then we will make it good for each other. Now this is also very important to um, for the passion to stay. Okay, then spending quality time, go on regular date nights without phones, get tech free. Now everybody is using phones. We are going out with friends or with our partners. Everybody is, it's very important to update everything on WhatsApp or on Facebook and on Instagram. That okay, yes, I am on a date night, but I am on a date night, but everything I am actually physically present, but I am emotionally and mentally here on my phone. So again, that intimacy fades. One very important thing is working on yourself. Now, sometimes problems occur in relationships because you are not able to work on yourself. You are not able to pursue your interest. You are not able to grow individually. This might happen mostly with women because after marriage, they are having a lot of responsibilities. Their career, their interests, their desires are somewhere faded and they are not given that priority. Now, it is again the duty of your partner also to understand that and nurture that together. Okay. And you also have to step up for yourself, voice up, and then talk about this and what is important for you and what you want to do. Working on yourself is very important. If you are happy mentally, then only you'll be able to keep the other person or your partner happy, or else it will all be superficial. Your passion will go. And let me tell you, whatever we are talking about here is both-sided. If it is one-sided, of course, this is what we work on in couples therapy. Okay. Then we have revisiting early memories. Now, we know that how much passionate the love was at the start of the relationship, but eventually what happened? Eventually, we got bored with each other. Eventually, we don't know anything new, what to do now. We know everything about each other. We have done everything. Now what? When you revisit the early memories, we used to go there for our date nights. We used to do this in our birthday. When you're revisiting the old memories, you're looking at the old photos, recreating the first dates, you are again reintroducing that passion. Now, one thing which is very important here is that you need to understand is that no matter whatever these factors are, you need to understand that insight is very important. You should know that there is a problem. You should be aware that, okay, my relationship is not consummate, it is not perfect, and there is a problem, and we need to work upon it. These pointers, yes, very good. But these pointers you will only reach when you will have the insight that there is a problem. There is the issue. Then only you'll be able to move forward. Okay? So this is what. Can we move forward with the next slide? And if anybody is having any questions, you can ask. Okay. Now, the cultural differences in expressing intimacy. Now, we know we are belonging to a collectivist culture. We are not from the individualistic culture. So there are two different types of cultures that we have. The Western culture is the individualistic culture and the Eastern culture is more of collectivist culture. Now, individualistic culture is what? Where importance is given to myself. Okay, I am not caring about my family or how others are feeling. This is more about myself. This is what individualistic culture talks about overall. Collectivist culture, it's more of thinking about others, thinking collectively about my family, my friends, of the society, what the society will say, what other people will say. Now in India, we are more concerned about, if we are doing something, we are like, 4 log kya kahenge? और वो जो 4 लोग कहेंगे उसके हिसाब से हम लोग काम करेंगे. In individualistic culture, there's nothing. I want to do it, I do it. I don't care what other people are saying. So I was just giving and telling you about what individualistic and collectivistic cultures are. So with respect to cultures, expression of intimacy differs. In individualistic culture, as in America, there is verbal affection. We often say, I love you. Open emotional sharing is there. When we talk about India, when we talk about collectivist culture, saying I love you is not very common. We will often see our parents saying I love you to each other, because this is very difficult. And this is something that is not coming naturally to them. In today's generation, it has become common because somewhere we have adapted that individualistic culture. Okay. Somewhere we have adapted that. So we are now becoming open to expressing this, expressing verbally. Or in general, if we see our parents, so they are not just saying I love you. They are more of action, taking responsibilities, taking care of each other. If they are unwell or doing household chores, the husband doing household chores because the wife is busy. So they are showing that, yes, I care for you and I love you, and this is why I'm doing it. They might not verbally say that I love you, but they are doing so through their actions. Okay. In individualistic culture, there is self-disclosure and independence is there. I'm giving each other that space and everything. I'm giving my partner that space because individualistic culture is there. Direct communication about needs and emotions are there. Emphasis is on personal fulfillment and emotional closeness. Okay. So now example of individualistic culture is that a partner may feel unloved if feelings aren't expressed verbally or regularly. The partner might feel that you don't love me, you never say I love you. You never say that out your feelings out loud to me. And in collectivist culture, it's more non-verbal. Action over words. Respect, loyalty, duty as love languages. Fulfilling the duties, taking up the responsibility. Emphasis is more on the family role, subtle bonding, harmony. Okay, so I am showing intimacy by prioritizing my partner's needs without verbalizing affection. This is what my partner needs, I'm prioritizing that. This is how it is different with respect to expressing intimacy. Can we move to the next slide? Okay, then we talk about commitment, how commitment is different. Now, commitment is shaped by cultural expectations, gender roles, and societal norms. Again, here, if we talk about the individualistic society, commitment is more of self-chosen, based on mutual compatibility. I love you, you love me, we are, close to each other, we want to get married, we want to stay forever, we are committing to each other. Okay, conditional on ongoing emotional fulfillment. And more acceptance of re-evaluation, divorce, and separation. There is acceptance that, okay, we are committing to each other, we are getting married, after some time, we are not compatible, we are not, maybe we fall out of love, we are we are getting attracted to somebody, or we are not wanting to live with each other because there is no compatibility, we are fighting a lot. Okay, there is acceptance that, okay, we will get separated. In collectivist society, this is seen very different. Here, commitment is more tied to family approval and social obligation. In India, we want to get married, we'll not just go and get married. It is the parents' approval, the societal obligations. चार लोग क्या कहेंगे? इसने उससे शादी कर ली, इसने ऐसे शादी कर ली, भाग के शादी कर ली. There are a lot of things. So commitment is again not easy. There can be passion, there can be intimacy between two partners, but there can be no commitment because of the collectivist society, how it is viewed. Okay, marital stability over romantic satisfaction is how the marriage stays stable over time. This is what is seen in commitment. It is not about the romantic satisfaction. How well we are, passionate about each other, how intimately close we are with each other. This is not given a lot of importance. Rather, whether, there is stability, whether the partner earns good, whether he has a good house, whether he can take care of me. This is what is seen, and this is what is important with respect to commitment in collectivist society. Religious and traditional views on marriage, permanence, again, kundali dekhi jayegi. Okay, everything will be viewed, and then if all the gun are matching, then you will get married. If 4-5 गुण मिल रहे हैं और बाकी सारी चीजें बहुत प्रॉब्लमेटिक है, शादी नहीं हो सकती. No matter how much you love each other, no matter how much passion or intimacy is there can be no commitment. Okay, and divorces can carry social stigma. Divorces are not easy. We see a lot of couples, old couples, they were married for years, there was commitment, there was no passion, there was no intimacy. It was just, they were just fulfilling their duty. And in this society, this is what is viewed as love. This is what is viewed as love because we stayed with each other, we took care of each other. What else is needed? What is passion? What is intimacy? Commitment was there now. We were not going anywhere else. We did not leave our partner. That's what. And we cannot separate. We cannot get divorced. Okay, so of course it has a lot of negative consequences. We know that. So we don't have a lot of time to discuss that in detail, but I'll just give an example. So a couple may stay married despite emotional disconnect due to children or community expectations. Okay, so this is what we have. Next slide, please.
Ma'am, let me ask a quick question. Since we are already talking about the culture, the influence of culture, so about the collectivistic culture, India follows that kind of culture, no? So, ma'am, since you are a practicing psychologist, what kind of love, if you talk about the classification of Sternberg, what kind of love do you usually see in the younger generation that come for counseling to you?
There is love, okay, and there is mostly passion, and there is mostly intimacy, or there is just intimacy, or there is no passion. So there is this, friend zone, one-sided love, or there is something stronger than love, stronger than friendship, but it is not love. I don't want to lose my friend because, if we will get into relationship, things will change. So there is a lot of, varieties when we see young couples these days. Why? Again, I will repeat the same thing, because we are exposed to social media. We have a lot of options. If not this, that person. If not this person, I'll get another person. So commitment is missing. If we talk about older generation, commitment has been really strong, although it has been social obligation. But I think that if we work upon, if there is couples therapy, and if we work upon, make them understand about intimacy and passion, it can be worked upon. But where commitment is missing, there is a problem. We need to make young couples in today's time understand that there is no, you cannot always run for someone better. We need to understand that you are not perfect and your partner will also be not perfect. You will have some, problems or some red flags yourself, and your partner will also have some red flags. The thing is that whether you are okay with that red flag or not. So I might be okay with that red flag. I don't care that if my partner is possessive. I am okay. I want that possessiveness in my partner. But the other person, my friend, she wants her freedom. She's like, no, don't ask where I'm going. I want to live my life. I have never asked anybody if I want to go. I have never taken permission of my parents also. Who are you to give me permission if I want to go out to my friends? So for this person, it can be a red flag. So we need to understand that the influential people who are giving podcasts on red flags and green flags, we need to stop listening to them, because we are individuals. So it's not important to understand which type of love youngsters have. It's important to understand that we should not get influenced by the type of relationship that other people are sharing, because ultimately everybody will have different connection, different intimacy. The amount of intimacy, the amount of passion can differ from person to person. Okay, my values and my beliefs, my goals in life will determine how I'm committing to that person. Okay, what I want in my partner, it is not something which is universal. People in today's time are thinking that relationship and romantic love and partnership is universal. these things has to be there. He has to be a good communicator. He has to, respect me always time. He should never shout at me. He should always be open to his emotions. He should understand me at all times. He should take care of me at all times. But is it very practical? No, it is not practical. There will be times where maybe you need your partner, but because of some problems, he is not there. So you are like, oh, you were not there. I needed you. Okay, I'm going to break up with you. You have hurt me. But you need to understand that what if you are there at that space? You need to keep on forgiving that person. Okay, you need to accept. Now, it is also important that while in the process of forgiving that person, you are not getting fooled that the other person is actually not loving you. Whether that other person is making the attempt to make things right, whatever went wrong the previous time. You need to acknowledge that as well. So there is a lot of complexities which are involved. So I would say that in today's time, because we are exposed to a lot of social media content, we know that we have a lot of options. We have dating apps. We can meet new people in a click. We can just right swipe and then we can just schedule a meeting. We can go and, I don't care about the previous one. Now, it's not that easy. Of course, there's a lot of emotional turmoil that an individual goes through because of which this is happening. But at the same time, as I said, love is difficult. And we need to understand in today's, the young couples needs to understand that it is not easy and they have to keep on working on this. They have to keep on showing up for each other. They have to keep on forgiving each other. And the very important thing is you have to accept each other for who they are. There will be some red flags in my partner, but there will also be some red flags in me. I might have something that he might not like. He might have something that I might not like. Okay, but we are accepting each other, giving each other chances to improve on things which can be worked upon. Okay, so this is very important.
So ma'am, so if we talk about the concept of red flags and green flags, so ma'am, do you mean that it is more of an a subjective kind of thing, like it depends from person to person? So ma'am, let us say if I have a friend who is dating somebody who I believe is a red flag, but she does not believe that way. So should I be advising her, like if she's not suffering as such or she's okay with it, should I give her advice or should I let that be?
This is a major problem why people are breaking up in today's time, because we are taking advice from our friends. We are taking advice from our friends that, he did this, yeah, what should I do? And your friend is like, I think, yeah, you should break up. You deserve better. You are the queen. You deserve the best. He's not the right person for you. Now, there can be two things. He actually might not be the right person for you. And secondly, the way your friend is accepting or expecting her partner to be, this influence is getting upon you. You are getting influenced by that. So as a friend, what we can do, we can give our friends that space to explore and let them know that it is you who will decide that whether you are okay to live with this negative aspect of his or not. We need to give that space, and we need to give, if you want to give advice to your friend, you can give this advice that, okay, this particular thing of your partner bothers you. Okay, let's explore this thing, that whether you are okay in the long term, that if he keeps on doing this thing forever, if you're okay with this, or can you give him a chance to maybe, or talk to him where he is ready to change and work upon that. See that if the partner is ready to work upon that particular thing or not. We cannot just leave a person just on the thing that he did this, now this is wrong, I cannot. We need to give the chance. This is why we say love is hard. We need to give the chance to the partner if he is working upon it, and maybe not 100%. 10% he has worked upon it, and 90% he does not have the capacity to work. But can I live with it? If I cannot live with this, and because this particular thing is very important for me, and this can lead to a lot of issues that can, just fade down all the passion and everything, then I think that we should get separated. But if I am okay with that, he is putting some restrictions on me and I am okay with that, I don't have any problem, because anyway, I have never been that free bird in my entire life. I want that he protects me every time. So I am okay with that. I'm not just okay, I'm more than happy with that. So it's okay. I'm accepting that. So it differs. It actually differs. So as a friend, you need to give your friend that space to understand. Be there. Know that, okay, there can be cases where the other person is only having, that physical attraction for you or infatuation for you, but you are having that passion and intimacy and everything you want to explore with that person. There can be this thing. There can be differences in all of these three components, the presence of these three components. So there can be this thing. There can be a chance that this can be developed in the partner, but only when both of the partners are ready to work upon it. Again, it's very complex. There is no just one answer. We work upon it. In couples therapy, we work upon it. We work, individually, the man and the partner, both the partners, and then as a couple, we work upon it. Okay?
All right, thank you.
All right. So when we talk, so this was the next topic that we were discussing. So Sternberg's theory in modern therapy. So first is that it helps as a diagnostic tool. It helps identify the imbalances, that whether the commitment is very high but intimacy is very low. So we are able to clarify that what is the love style, why and how they are together, but they are not able to sustain that love. They're not able to be happy. Then improving communication, because the way the partners are communicating their feelings with each other can be very different. So the therapist is helping the client express emotional needs and understand different love experiences. Okay, if I have different needs and my partner is not able to fulfill that need. Okay, so the therapist will help understand my partner. That okay, or maybe make my needs verbally out in front of my partner, because there can be a situation where I'm not able to express that, okay, this is what I need in my relationship. Okay, so helping me to express my needs and then helping my partner to make some adjustments so that that need can be fulfilled. Then setting goals. Of this theory actually offers a roadmap to rebuild passion, deepen the intimacy, and strengthen commitment. So there is a lot of homework, the things that we discussed now, reigniting passion and all. So we are giving homeworks to the couple that, okay, you need to do this. Now this week you'll be exploring some new activities and new hobby, and you'll be doing it together. You'll be working on this together. Or you will schedule a date night, or you will talk to each other about their insecurities and everything. So we are helping them as an external agent to understand what is missing out of the three components, okay, and then reignite that, strengthen that, okay. And then in that whole process, we are also tracking the evolution, how it is changing, how this, the commitment is getting stronger, the passion and intimacy is getting stronger. So it is useful for long-term couples navigating changes and normalizing transitions. Okay. Now, this means that making the couples understand that in this whole journey, it's very normal that, there will be challenges, there will be difficulties, and you might face, difficult situations. You might involve into fights. Okay. There can be times, when there is no passion. You don't want to, for months, you were not, into each other. Okay, or for days you were not talking to each other because there were certain problems, either individually because of the family intrusion. There can be many things. So making them understand and tracking that evolution and how it is changing and how it grows eventually. Okay, and support during separation. Now, support during separation is like in some cases that particular component cannot be rebuilt. Okay, it's not like the intention of the other person is wrong. Okay, but that particular component cannot be rebuilt. So we are supporting the couple and helping them clarify that what remains and assesses if health is repairable or not. If it is not, then we are supporting them that, okay, it's better that you guys get separated, and it is not with a very heavy heart and with a lot of hatred, because whenever there's a lot of hatred, then it becomes very difficult to move on with your life. Okay, so helping on understanding, accepting each other, and then saying goodbye to each other with a at a good stage. Okay, so this is one. So there, of course, are certain limitations of the theory. We talked about so many things. Now, when we talk about Sternberg's theory, it has been widely accepted, but still there are limitations. Every theory that you read now, they were given years back. And this is why we talk about research. This is why we say that it's important to keep on researching upon the theory that has been given by people, years, decades back. Because the generation, the time, the things that were there during that time, it has changed drastically in today's time. With the use of social media, with the rapid use of dating apps, there are so many things that are happening. And it somewhere changes or changes the direction how people are viewing love and relationship in today's time. Somewhere we talk about the limitations. So one thing is that it neglects social and cultural dynamics. It doesn't address the cultural variations, the power dynamics, or the non-Western context. It does not talk about. It is completely based on the Western concept. This theory is based on the Western concept and it is not very much applicable. We, of course, can apply it in therapies and make them understand everything, but it is not, made from that concept. Okay. It has a very static representation. It presents love as fixed, not accounting for fluctuations or transitions like infidelity or trauma. It does not talk about that. Because of certain things, because of trauma that an individual have had in their previous life, if the person have experienced some sort of sexual abuse, how that relationship take turns, if there is infidelity, if there is just because the passion was lost between the partners and one of the partners is involved in extramarital affair. How it is explained? It is not explained through the theory. Then it assumes equal importance. It implies all components are necessary for consummate love. Okay, it says potentially privileging sexual attraction. Okay, so it is saying that compassion, commitment, and this intimacy, all the three components are having equal importance, but we cannot generally say that. Sometimes it's not important that passion or sexual intimacy is that important, but it can be there, or it can be in lesser amount. But if emotional intimacy might somewhere be given more importance and commitment is given more importance. Now again, it depends from person to person. This is not this is not explained in the Sternberg theory. And then it is too simplistic. It may not fully capture the fluid, dynamic, and contradictory nature of real relationship with respect to what? With respect to how we are viewing emotions, how we are feeling emotions, how there are in different situations, how emotions are changing, how expectations are changing when we grow, how there is manipulation, how there is a lot of things which are involved in a human interaction. So that is not, that's why, throughout the presentation, I kept on saying that this is complex, there's a lot of other things. This is not mentioned in the theory. All of that I was telling you from my side. Okay. But the theory is very simplistic. Three components, it interacts, and the presence of all the three is consummate love. If there is one or two, then there are different types of love that we have. Okay. That's all that we have, guys. Thank you so much. Any questions anybody is having? Anything anybody wants to ask?
Yeah, so if anybody has any sorts of questions, please put them in the doubt box and ma'am will help you. Does anybody have any questions? If no, then we can end the session now. Okay, one point to mention here is that the recording of this entire webinar would be uploaded on our PsyAcademy YouTube channel. So the link to which will be shared in the WhatsApp group. So if nobody has any questions, we'll end the session here. So thank you so much, ma'am. You did not only decode the entire theory, but then you also gave so many practical examples about the cases that you see. So I hope everybody has no doubts. That nobody has no doubts. Yeah. So we'll end the session today. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me. It was lovely interacting with you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.